So now please come back to our discussion. I ended here with only on 14th of July 1789, the incident of storming of Bastille happened. 14 जुलाई 1789 में बास्टाइल किला के ऊपर आक्रमण करके उसको तहस नहस कर दिया गया था और कैदियों को मुक्त किया गया था। ये था फ्रेंच रिवॉल्यूशन का शुरुआत का ही बिगुल। On 6th of June, just before that, one more incident already happened. I'm skipping it, it's not detailed now. On 4th of August 1789, the representatives of Third Estate declared themselves as the National Assembly. 4th August 1789 में थर्ड स्टेट का जो प्रतिनिधि वो अपने आप को नेशनल असेंबली डिक्लेयर कर दिए। नेशनल असेंबली मींस पार्लियामेंट। नेशनल असेंबली मींस पार्लियामेंट। They claimed, as we are the representatives of the 90% population of France, so there is nothing wrong to declare that we are the National Assembly. उनका कहना यह था कि फ्रांस में 90 भाग लोग थर्ड स्टेट होते हैं और हम थर्ड स्टेट का प्रतिनिधि है। तो हम जो इलेक्टेड प्रतिनिधि हम सबको लेकर फ्रांस का पार्लियामेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूट हुई है। So no more election is required now. We are the representatives of the third estate, and third estate constitute 90% population of France. So we, the 600 delegates of third estate, are the members of the parliament, and it is renamed as National Assembly. And it was earlier known as States General. पहले इसका नाम था States General. Now it has been renamed. अब उसका नाम परिवर्तन कर दिया गया। 4th August 1789, the representatives of the third estate, they declared themselves as the National Assembly. That means the Parliament of France. The National Assembly is the new term now. Earlier it was been known in the name of States General. And this third state, which constitutes the National Assembly, or the National Assembly, which has been now constituted by the representatives of the third state, it made some changes. And Louis XVI accepted, accredited this National Assembly. Louis XVI recognized this National Assembly. On 4th of August, the National Assembly, States General, was renamed as National Assembly, which is the Parliament of France, and that was been also recognized or accepted by Louis XVI. The National Assembly made some changes, made some provisions, new provisions, and Louis XVI also agreed with this new provision, which reduced the power of the monarch. ये जो नया पार्लियामेंट बना, जिसको नेशनल असेंबली कहा गया, इसमें कुछ परिवर्तन किया गया। राजा का पावर को कम करने का व्यवस्था इसमें रखा गया, पावर डिवीजन करने के लिए डिफरेंट ऑर्गन्स में वो व्यवस्था किया गया, बर्थ राइट को रिड्यूस करने के लिए प्रस्ताव रखा गया, थर्ड स्टेट को पावर देने का, सोशल स्टेटस देने का व्यवस्था इसमें रखा गया। These were the provisions of the National Assembly of 1789, and Louis XVI had no way out. He had to just accept it, and he recognized it. Louis XVI के पास कोई रास्ता नहीं था कि लुईस 16 देखा the third estate now was been supported by the first and second estate also, which I have already discussed. लुईस 16 से देखा कि थर्ड स्टेट अब खाली अकेला नहीं है, इनको फर्स्ट और सेकेंड स्टेट का समर्थन मिल चुकी है। तो ये जो नया नेशनल असेंबली बना, पार्लियामेंट ऑफ फ्रांस, और जो परिवर्तन इन्होंने किया, जो प्रस्ताव रखा, इन सारे प्रस्तावों में लुईस 16 राजी हुआ। ऑफ कोर्स फोर्सिबली, भले बाध्य में क्यों ना हो, but Louis XVI accepted this National Assembly. Now, I am going to discuss about the provision of this National Assembly. It is a very important question. इससे थोड़ा हटके एक क्वेश्चन पे हम जा रहे हैं, डिस्कशन करेंगे, जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है बच्चों, and that is the National Assembly. Now, remember, this National Assembly of 4th August. This National Assembly of 4th August 1789. National Assembly now reduced the power of the monarch and now gave the power to the constitution. So now France became a constitutional monarchy. अब फ्रांस एब्सोल्यूट मोनार्की नहीं रहा, फ्रांस अब एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की बना। इन 1791, this is 1791. Now France became, in 1791, now France became a constitutional assembly, constitutional monarchy, sorry. Now France became a constitutional monarchy. In 1791, France became a constitutional monarchy. Before that, France was absolute monarchy. That's the difference, and I am differentiating it. Please try to understand. Absolute monarchy. Before 1791, France was absolute monarchy. Before 1791, France was absolute monarchy. Absolute monarchy means there is no parliament, there is no constitution, there is no rule of the land. ना तो कोई संसद है, ना कोई संविधान है, ना देश का कोई आईन कानून और शासन व्यवस्था कुछ भी है। The king is everything. King is parliament, king is constitution, king is the law making body, king is judiciary, king is executive, everything. This is called absolute monarchy. Monarchy means rajtantra. Absolute means uncontrolled. No one is there to control the monarchy. राजा को कंट्रोल करने वाला कोई नहीं है. The king is all in all. This is called absolute monarchy. Before 1791, France was absolute monarchy. But in 1791, now France became constitutional monarchy. Constitutional monarchy means two things are here. One is the constitution plus monarch. राजा रहेगा. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की मतलब राजा रहेंगे, लेकिन राजा के हाथ एब्सोल्यूट पावर नहीं रहेगी. देयर इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, संविधान है, राजा भी है, और राजा को देश का संविधान के अनुसार ही शासन करना होगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की. इन 1791, France became the constitutional monarchy. What were the provisions of the National Assembly of 1791 and what were its features? Let us discuss about it. So the National Assembly of 1791 का जो नेशनल असेंबली फ्रांस में बनी, it made France constitutional monarchy from absolute monarchy. 1791 में फ्रांस में जो नेशनल असेंबली बनी, ये फ्रांस में एब्सोल्यूट मोनार्की को खत्म करके कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की एस्टेब्लिश किया। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की मीन्स monarch is there, constitution is also there. Monarch cannot use the power absolutely in his own will. He has to exercise the power, whichever power he has been given as per the laws of the constitution. राजा उतना ही पावर यूज कर पाएगा जितना पावर उसको संविधान दिया। संविधान के अंदर रहकर वो अपना पावर का एक्सरसाइज करेगा, एब्सोल्यूट वे में अपना मन इच्छा पावर का इस्तेमाल नहीं कर पाएगा। दिस इज कॉल्ड एज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की। नाउ द प्रोविजंस and features of the National Assembly of 1791। ये जो 1791 फ्रांस का जो नेशनल असेंबली यानी जो पार्लियामेंट बनी, उसका प्रोविजन, उसमें व्यवस्था और उसमें क्या सिग्निफिकेंट फीचर्स थे, अब उसको हम डिस्कशन करने जा रहे हैं। नंबर 1 provision, first provision, the National Assembly of 1791 in France reduced the power of the monarch. First point, it reduced the power, the absolute power of the monarch. The first provision, it reduced the absolute power of the monarch. monarch का जो unlimited, uncontrolled power था, उसको ये कम कर दिया। Number 2, now the monarch can't exercise the powers alone. अब राजा सारे पावर अकेला इस्तेमाल नहीं करेगा। Powers, second point, powers now will be divided. Second point, powers now will be divided between 3 organs of government. सरकार का 3 अंग बनाया गया और वो 3 अंगों में पावर का बंटवारा होगी। That is legislature, number 2 executive, and number 3 judiciary. First point, the National Assembly of 1791 reduced the power of the monarch. It reduced the monarch from absolute monarch to the monarch to be guided by, to be controlled by the constitution. Number 2, now the powers of the land, देश का जो क्षमता सारे पावर राजा के हाथ में ना रख के 3 ऑर्गन्स में बांटा जाएगा। Powers of the country, powers of the land now will be distributed among 3 organs of the government. One is the legislature, second executive, and third is the judiciary. In this way, we can see the Constitution, the National Assembly of 1791 has reduced the power of the monarch. Number 3, the Constitution of 1791. The Constitution of 1791 gave the law-making power or legislative power, law-making power to an elected body of people called the National Assembly. 1791 में फ्रांस में जो संविधान बनी, ये कानून बनाने का अधिकार लोगों के द्वारा चुना गया प्रतिनिधियों के हाथ में दिया, सौंपा। जिसको कहा गया नेशनल असेंबली। नेशनल असेंबली was a body of the representatives elected by the people. And now the Constitution of 1791 gave the power of making laws for France in that elected body, in the hands of that elected body, that is called the National Assembly. Third point, the Constitution of 1791 gave the law-making power to an elected body of the people called the National Assembly. So what was National Assembly? National Assembly was an elected body. That means group of people who were being elected by the people. That is called National Assembly, which or the parliament that we call parliament, संसद. भारत में हम इसको संसद कहते हैं, लोकसभा राज्यसभा हम कहते हैं. फ्रांस में भी लोगों के द्वारा चुना गया प्रतिनिधियों को लेकर एक बॉडी बनेगी जिसको कहा जाएगा नेशनल असेंबली. और नेशनल असेंबली का काम होगा फ्रांस के लिए कानून बनाना. ये फ्रांस का संविधान में लिख दिया गया. The Constitution of 1791 has declared that a group of people, representatives, will be elected by the common people, and those elected representatives will constitute the National Assembly of France, and the National Assembly of France will have the power to make laws for the country. और ये जो National Assembly इसमें 750 members थे. This National Assembly had 750 members, but they were not directly elected by the people. ये जो नेशनल असेंबली जिनमें 750 मेंबर थे, ये आम आदमी के द्वारा इलेक्टेड नहीं होते थे. The common people, they will elect a group of people, almost 50,000 common people, 50,000 common people, or voters. They will elect a group of members, and they will elect these 750 members of the assembly. That means we can say the members of the National Assembly, they were indirectly elected by the common people. Common people will give the vote and elect a body of members of 50,000, and those 50,000 will elect the members of the National Assembly. आम आदमी कुछ लोगों को चुनेंगे, लगभग 50,000, और वो 50,000 नेशनल असेंबली का ये 750 मेंबर को चुनेंगे. The members of National Assembly were not been directly elected by the common voters of France. They were being elected by a group of people who were being elected by the common people. नेशनल असेंबली के मेंबर्स कुछ लोगों के द्वारा चुने जा रहे थे जो लोग आम आदमी के द्वारा पहले चुने गए थे. अगर हम उसको उल्टा करके बोले, the common people were electing a group of people first, almost 50,000 people, and those people who were being elected by the common people, then they were electing these 750 members of the National Assembly. So the members of the National Assembly of France, they were not being directly elected by the common people, by the voters of France. Now, who could give vote? अब सवाल आ रही है, कौन किसको वोट देने का अधिकार था फ्रांस में? In France, everybody had not the right to vote. As in India, we are having people who are above 18 years of age, they have the right to vote, irrespective of any discrimination, irrespective of any differences. No discrimination, male, female, any caste, religion. All the citizens of India who are above 18 years of age have the right to vote, that we know. Universal adult franchise. But in France in 1791, everyone did not have the right to vote. Everyone had not the right to vote. only male, सिर्फ पुरुष above 25 years of age. फ्रांस में सिर्फ पुरुष लोग जिनका उम्र 25 साल से ज्यादा, और फिर सारे पुरुष नहीं जो 25 साल की उम्र से ज्यादा है. रिमेंबर, यहाँ बहुत सारी बातें हैं, क्रूशियल, बहुत सारी इंपॉर्टेंट बातें हैं. इन हु वेर हैविंग द राइट टू वोट इन फ्रांस. फ्रांस में वोट देने का अधिकार किसको था? फर्स्ट मेल, दैट मीन्स वोमेन डिड नॉट हैव द राइट टू वोट. फ्रांस में औरतों को वोट देने का अधिकार नहीं थी. दे गॉट द राइट टू वोट इन 1946. बहुत बाद में फ्रांस में औरतों को वोट देने का अधिकार मिली थी. तो हु हैड द राइट टू वोट इन फ्रांस इन द ईयर 1791? ओनली मेल मेंबर्स. सिर्फ पुरुषों को वोट अधिकार था. क्या सारे पुरुषों को वोट देने अधिकार था? Did all the male have the right to vote? No. Male above 25 years of age. पुरुष वो फिर 25 साल से ऊपर होना चाहिए. क्या सारे पुरुष जो 25 साल से ऊपर है उनको वोट देने का अधिकार था? Did all the male who were above 25 years of age have the right to vote? No. One more point is here. Male above 25 years of age and who could pay the tax? Paying the tax. जो टैक्स दे रहे थे, टैक्स पेयर्स, एटलीस्ट 3 days लेबर, वेज ऑफ ए लेबर. एक मजदूर का 3 दिन का तनख्वाह अगर कोई पुरुष 25 साल से ऊपर जिसका उम्र हो और वो टैक्स दे रहा है, only those male had the right to vote in France. This is very, very important. In France, all the citizens had not the right to vote. Only male, last point I'm telling, only male who were above 25 years of age and who could pay the tax, at least 3 days wage of a labor, had the right to vote, and they were called as active citizens. उनको active citizens कहा जा रहा था. Here it may be a question, who were the active citizens in France? फ्रांस में active citizen किसको कहा जा रहा था? Male above 25 years of age and who could pay tax, at least 3 days wage of a laborer, were been called as the active citizens. Rest others, बाकी सारे, even women of rich family, all others, everyone except a male about 25 years of age and who were paying taxes, they were being called as passive citizen in France. फ्रांस में उनको passive citizen कहा जा रहा था, and they did not have the right to vote. और उन लोगों को वोट देने का अधिकार प्रदान नहीं किया गया था by this National Assembly of 1791 और the Council of 1791. फ्रांस का पार्लियामेंट 1791 में या संविधान जो 1791 में बनी, ये पैसिव सिटीजन्स को वोट देने का अधिकार नहीं दिया था. लास्ट पॉइंट, which alone can be a question of 3 marks. Point number 6. This alone can be a 3 marks question. Declaration of rights of men and citizens. This is the most important feature of the National Assembly of 1791 or the Constitution of 1791. 1791 the National Assembly और Constitution of 1791, इसका ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है बच्चों. Declaration of rights of man and citizen, the most important point of the Constitution of France. Declaration of rights of man and citizen. What provisions were here? इसमें क्या व्यवस्था किया गया? This Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen of 1791 declared the rights like life, rights like freedom, rights like speech and opinion are the basic rights of human being. Are basic rights: right to life, right to life, right to freedom, right to speech and opinion are the basic rights. ये इंसान का जीवन में मूल अधिकार बच्चों ये सब है. Number 2, the Constitution of 1791 of France declared these rights as inalienable and barred for natural rights. These rights are natural rights. Natural rights means birth rights. Means everyone must have it. The Constitution declared these rights as natural rights, means birth rights. Any citizen of France, even a newborn baby who has taken birth today itself, he or she will have these rights automatically. This is the birth right. I will have it. By birth, I got this right. Number 3, these are inalienable. These are inalienable rights. Yes, जो अधिकार ये inalienable है. That means these rights cannot be taken away. Cannot be taken away. These rights are inalienable rights. Means nobody can violate these rights. Nobody can take these rights from citizens of France. First point, the feature of the Constitution of 1791, it declares some rights of man and citizen. It declared right to life, right to speech, right to freedom, right to opinion as the basic rights of human being. इंसान के जीवन में ये बहुत इंपोर्टेंट रखती है, मायने रखती है, इंपोर्टेंस रखती है. Number 2, these rights are natural rights. Natural rights means they are birth rights. Anyone who has been taken birth in France will automatically have this right. Number 3, these are inalienable rights. Inalienable rights means these rights cannot be violated. These rights cannot be taken away. And number 3, it is the duty of the state to protect these rights to citizens. It is the duty of the state to protect these rights. ये राष्ट्र का कर्तव्य है नागरिकों का इन अधिकार को बचाना. So friends, with this I conclude my session. The National Assembly of France of 1791 and the Constitution of France 1791, their objectives and the features, and especially the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen and its provisions. So next class, we will carry on our discussion. Thank you.